Yep.
Welcome to the Struggle Bubble. I'm Chad Kutting.
I'm Craig Surgey.
And I'm Scarlett Surgey.
There she is, Miss Celebrity. Welcome back from Tahoe, Surgeys.
Thank you.
Scarlett, how was it? How did it go?
Good.
Tell me more.
Ready? Let's show him more.
What do we got? Starbound Talent Competition 2024?
Let me get behind you. Hold on.
For everybody listening and not viewing the video, Scarlett has come to present, holy moly, a giant banner.
National Title Competition 2024 Showcase.
I got no more arms.
Grand Champions, 2024 Showcase Grand Champions. Scarlett, that's amazing. You and the entire TDC had a pretty incredible week up in Tahoe. How much fun was it?
Really fun.
Really fun. It looked incredible.
Do you want to give any shout outs to your teammates and your company?
No.
That's mean. You didn't win the whole thing on your own. Who was your choreographer?
Kiana Bonami and Bria Paulette.
What dance studio do you dance for?
The dance company of Los Gatos.
Big shout out to the TDC.
Who was the winning dance was Jungle? Who's in the Jungle dance?
Scarlett, Alexa, Morgan, Fiona, Naomi, Analea, Elia, Chloe, Kate, Alyssa, Ella, Margot, Juju, and me.
So we said 5 consecutive days of dancing. Scarlett, were you tired at all?
Not really.
Not really. She wasn't tired at all. You know what I want to learn even more about, though? So you danced all week long, and then I see some incredible videos of you and your dad on a kayak.
Yep.
How far did you go?
We went.
Well, we kind of went down. I don't know. Maybe we probably did a mile. I would say.
That's incredible. So after all that dancing, after being so tired, I guess you said not so tired, you were able to get in the boat, go on Lake Tahoe. That's incredible. You had a lot of fun. Will you go back next year?
Yes.
Oh,
But I
my
really want to
goodness.
go skiing.
Oh, let's go skiing. Let's do another Starbound competition in the wintertime. Congratulations, Scarlett, and the entire TDC of Los Gatos family. Sounds like an incredible week.
When I'm on my Insta spam, I will add the Jungle dance. So anyone listening can look at my Instagram and see the dance that won the showcase.
That's fantastic. Congratulations, Scarlett.
Thank you.
Okay, you're dismissed.
See you later. That sounds like a really fun week, Craig. And you guys just got back last night. We're recording this on... and that sound in the background is Scarlett spraying her dad with...
Oh my god.
What did she just spray all over you?
Oh my god, fragrance. Perfume. Perfect.
Oh, man. I'm glad we don't have smell-o-vision right now because that looks pretty awesome.
That's
So you guys just got back. We're recording this on Monday afternoon. You got back late last night, Sunday?
Sunday we rolled in. It was a horrible drive home, but it was around 3:30, 4 o'clock, something around there. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a long.
That's a long week. And we were just talking about last week. There's a lot that goes into it for them to prepare and get all the way to this showcase. And it was an incredible week. They won some awards. Looks like they had a lot of fun. But you were also able to spend a good amount of family time up in Tahoe while you were doing the dance and being around the other families competing, but also your own family. I think the activity you described was, you said it was tree topping, which I had no idea what you were talking about.
Yes.
Explain a little bit to our audience what you guys did on Saturday.
Absolutely. So tree topping is zip lining an obstacle course when you're like between, it's like skiing green, I think they do blue, green, and black diamond. So it's like different variations of height and difficulty. So you're like 10 feet off the ground, 15 feet off the ground, 25 feet off the ground, whatever the variation of height was. And then part of it's zip lining, part of it's obstacle courses, but obviously you're harnessed and clipped in. And it's like 3 hours long. So it's all in the middle of, the forest in Tahoe. And it's a bunch. We went with Kate. So Kate, mate, was, as she is, excited and enjoying every single minute of it. So no, it was a blast. We finally got a little bit of downtime, and then the drive home, and it was a long weekend. I mean, they were exhausted. I mean, you could tell by the amount of food they were consuming how hard they were working, honestly. Um, but it was a lot. Just to give everybody that's listening a quick overview. And again, I'm taking this as the dance dad that had no idea, right? Looks cute. We go twice a year to see the recitals, end of the summer, and then Christmas time. That was my mentality going in. Then you get into this, and the kids are competitive dancers, etc. And so they started Sunday night because they did opening number. So when they do the showcase, so the way that it's built is you are scored out of 300 points. If you win, the top 5, I think they did, went into showcase. So then the showcase one is like the bigger prize. But then, so you may have got like a 291 and that got you in third place, but you messed up somewhere. So then you get another chance to do it, which may get you like a 294, 295, whatever, and win it. So for the kids, they did showcase, which was the final performance before you do your dance again. Then they all did solos. Then they did, it's age specific, so like minis, juniors, seniors, etc. So Scarlett does both. She does minis and she does juniors. So I think in total it was kind of wild. I think most of the kids probably do 6 to 7 dances over those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then if they win any, not solos, just groups, you go then into the showcase, which is what the kids they had. I think Chloe had 2 showcase dances or 3, and Scarlett I know had 3 because she had a mini one and then 2 juniors. So, but yeah, they won again. It's crazy. It's against Sacramento. It's against all over the place. So it's pretty impressive production, and it's in the huge auditorium in the casino. So like 1,000+ people, 1,500 people watching. I don't honestly some 6, 7, 8 year olds just killing it out there.
Yeah, so much work and preparation goes into it as well. You have this big event to look forward to, a week-long thing that you're working all spring, maybe some of the winter and looking forward to. Now it all wraps up pretty successfully, and it's on to the next season. And that's a little bit of what we're going to talk about today on this episode of The Struggle Bubble, the preparation that it takes to go into subsequent seasons. I'm on the Los Gatos Little League board, and we're planning right now to go into fall ball and then 2025 spring season. Craig, you're getting ready to go into the fall season for all of Los Gatos United and everything that goes into it in your new role as director over there. So we're going to talk a little bit today about what it takes, the behind the scenes, a little bit about what we know people know about, and a little bit more about what actually goes into making a successful season that many people don't know about and the amount of work that it takes. So I'm going to go ahead and go first on the Little League side. It is the end of July, which means all of our spring season is fully complete. What you're seeing on TV over the next month will be the Little League World Series. That is the culmination of all the work that goes on in the spring season for every team, every district, every section across the United States and rest of world. So this is really the end of the entire season of all the all-star teams. But
okay,
believe it or not,
question. Is that a real thing? Like all these kiddies getting how does it work? Like is what I should say.
Yeah, so breaking it down for how you get to the World Series, we are a local league. That is the smallest unit of measurement in Little League. We are Los Gatos Little League. Every Little League across the country is that league. They run it on their own. They follow Little League International guidelines. And at the end of every season, they vote for the best team to represent the league in certain age groups. So everybody you see on TV is likely 12 years old. You had all the fun stories of Danny Almonte and everybody else. You should see, and we'll talk about in a second, the birth certificate checks and address checks and all the things that go into verifying that you are that age. You don't turn that next year older until September of this league season. Each league is part of a district. So there's little chunks of geography that are broken down to say, Los Gatos Little League is a part of District 12. There's 9 other little leagues in District 12.
And then you guys all follow the same rules, regulations assigned by Little League or assigned by
Exactly.
MLB all the way down?
No, this is Little League. So you have the general rules of baseball that we all follow, but when it comes down to actual team composition and the rules on the field, the length of the bases, the distances to the mound, all of that is governed by Little League International. And the local leagues have a little bit of leeway on some local rules that we can go into, but in general, it is 100% run by Little League International, and we follow those guidelines.
Got it.
And then as we play out, what you're seeing now is those leagues compete for their district title. If you win districts, you go to your sections. Just another bigger, geographic
cool.
expansion.
Yep.
So we're part of Section 5. So there's another 7 teams. Best of the districts play the other districts in the section. You win your section, you go to state. The state of California is broken into 2 because we're so large. So we would go, and our juniors team just played in Northern California State. If you win Northern California State, you go on to Western Region. So that's the best of the West. And then you win your Western Region, you go on to represent that region in the Little League World Series.
Oh, wow. So you just have to win region and then you go into the big pool.
Well,
so then it'd be
district,
West.
region, district section, NorCal, region to go to the World Series. It is a full summer, and a lot of what people don't understand is the time commitment. So these boys and girls playing softball, Little League softball, have played just about every day or every other day from June 5th, just in this tournament. And then we started our Little League season back in February because the weather clears up for us in California. So they've been playing baseball a long time to get to this. And you have some parents that want to schedule summer travel, right? Do a trip like you just did, go up to Tahoe, go off. Can't do that. And you don't want to jinx it. You gotta stay ahead of it a little bit, but a lot of teams are playing. We've got a couple teams in the same district that are playing on in that Western region, playing on in state, which is pretty impressive to see the amount of wins it takes to get to those tournaments coming in. And then you have international. There's representatives of just about every country. So once you get into that Western region, you go in and you face against the United States. There's a U.S. champion, and then there's a West of World champion that goes on and plays one another. So it really is an international.
Cuba, Japan, presume 3 strong.
It's pretty impressive. And that's the part of Little League that everybody sees from the outside. They see these World Series, but what we're going through right now for the local league is we've wrapped all of that summer ball up. We're going to start a fall season right after Labor Day. So we're going to go in and start creating what we call fall ball, which is a little bit more low stress, not a heavy, competitive environment. We just want to get kids back on the diamond and start playing. But with that comes some back office that needs to get done. We need to select a board. We're 100% volunteer driven, and we get recurring board members that'll stay on, but you age out. Once you have a kid in Little League and they get beyond 12, 13, 14, you're aged out. You're not coming back. So it's really a bit of an art to get every position filled that really helps drive and continue momentum into the next season. So you have a president, which is the role that I'm serving. You have a vice president of operations, just a general, assist to everything that goes on with the board. We have a VP of information, so the website, registration. We have a safety director that makes sure that we're doing everything we can to protect arms, concussion protocol, do everything to keep the kids healthy throughout the season. A coaching director to make sure that we have the right coaching recruiting, the right practice plans. We have what's called a player agent that has everything in the player's best interest, that runs evaluations, that runs helps run clinics, that helps get the registration data into the VP of information so that we can run all of these leagues. We have a fields director, make sure all the fields are playable and conditioned for the right part of the season. We have a secretary that's able to keep us all, get all the board meetings, the agendas, everything properly notated. And one of my favorite, we have a director of community affairs. Phil Knopf has been part of the Los Gatos Little League for decades, and he helps connect the town and the league and everything that we're doing with one big thread so that we're best representing the best interests of the kids with the town. So a lot going into it behind the scenes.
Yeah, it is a lot. Is this a shout out for anybody that wants to join to reach out to you?
It's well, be careful what you're volunteering for.
Careful
But
what
we
you
do need
wish
some
for.
help, the field director, and one when I forgot the sponsorship director to help bring in the local community and sell banners and different experiences throughout the
Yeah.
season, so we can pay for uh,
Best thing in this town. I
yeah,
swear to God.
the equipment. And that's another one that I forgot about. So yeah, there's about 15 roles in total. Uniforms, equipment. There's a lot that goes into running a league that I think just gets missed. You show up on opening day and here's your uniform, here's picture day, here's
What? Wait,
everything.
hold
But
on. Hold on. You mean I don't just give you a check and everything's dialed in?
some people do.
It's
One of the most impressive things is we have a volunteer buyout. So every year there's about, let's say, 800 roles throughout the season that need to be filled. That's anything from snack shack to field preparation to evaluation day volunteers. And we offer, if you don't want to do any of those, if you don't want to volunteer for your 6 hours, you can opt out of it. And we have plenty of people that will pay that money and just not want to show up to do any of those. We also have a good amount of people that'll pay that fee and still show up to volunteer throughout the season when
yeah.
we send out the bat signal.
Yeah, I mean time. I mean if your commitment in life is so hard up and you want to help but you can't, you send a check in because you still feel like you're giving something back, even
But
though it's
so
it's
much
not
of it, it's
time.
just not about the money, especially with what we're doing. This isn't travel baseball. This isn't a
Mhm.
for-profit organization. We want to raise enough money for two things. The first is to make sure that we can run the league efficiently. We need to rent fields. One of the biggest changes, it's no longer $5 to rent the field. It's significant, like over 35-40% of our budget goes to just renting the fields from the school district or from the town.
Facilitron?
That's what we use for the schools. The town is a use agreement that we're able to get access to the fields, which has been great. We have a great partnership, but with that comes full maintenance of the fields. It's not that we are, a tenant and everything is provided for us. We pay the money to rent the fields, and we're 100% on the hook to make sure that the fields are taken care of, prepared. So if there's 6 inches of rain like we had the past couple of years, we have a team of volunteers that are out there with rakes and quick dry, uh, getting all that done. And shout out to Adam Fisher and his entire crew that have gone out the last couple of years and prepared these fields. They look incredible. But a lot goes into more than just a check, making sure that we're able to take care of those fields and have a great experience for all these
For the
kids.
kiddos. Yeah, that's awesome. But it is a lot. I don't disagree. We do a lot the same through soccer, right? You got 3,500 kids. It's I think the league is now the second or third biggest league in Northern California, and multiple layers. So you going through the layers of the leagues that get up to that World Series. Just in ours, you obviously have recreation and competitive, and then comp splits out into NorCal, which then has multiple leagues in it. It goes from copper, bronze, silver, gold, premier, and then at a certain age, it'd be the 2012s this year, I believe, GA. So that's another league on top of that that has its own. So the kids play in NorCal as well, which is NPL, and then they play in GA also. And then with GA, you have to do showcases, and it's just another level up that gets closer to college, I would say. It's a lot of the college coaches will look at that level and see if there's any kids that reach it. But to your point on fields, game days, referees, we have it a little different. We have a whole system that we have a whole referee team and a system in place that assigns the refs to the games if they can't do it depending on their schedule. But then the same field teams, it's a lot. It's a full time. It's a business. It's not
Yeah.
a part
So
time. There's just
with
so
that
many players.
referee side of it, Craig, so we use a system it's called Arbiter. You're able to put all the
Same.
games in, assign it. We have another position that I forgot is the head of umpires. Is it you have like head of referees, and do you need to recruit the referees, or is that all part of a pool?
No, so both actually. So there is a pool as they graduate through. They've got to be recruited and trained, and
Hmm.
then it's if this is a huge shout out, I'll put it out now. All the teenage kids that want jobs, I think it's close to like between $35 and $70 a game, depending if you're the middle ref or the line ref, and depending on the age. It's something insane. There's kiddos out there that I used to coach that are now refing that they're racking up $200 a weekend. It's a great little earner. But yeah, so recruit, train, put them in the pool, and then arbiter assigns when and where.
Have you seen an issue with being able to find enough quality referees?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
So what do you do if you show up to a game that doesn't have a referee or doesn't have? I mean, your girls are young enough now. There's just one center referee, or do you have two?
Correct. No, just one.
Yeah. And what is the age where they have three? They have the two on the sidelines and one in the middle.
Sometimes they start at 9v9, so that would be like the U10s, I believe they would be now. We transition in August. So I'm getting, if they were U9 in the spring, they're U10 now. But 11v11 obviously has, which would be 12-year-olds, will have center and two lines, line referees. But yeah, it's a lot. I mean, and we can go down this road, but a lot of it is parent interaction and coach interaction, that cause some of these referees. And honestly, like we talked about this before, like I got called out by a referee last spring. Some of the education the refs get, and I'm not pointing fingers at all, but there's rule changes every year. So, they should be educated, right? They should be given updated knowledge, etc. And, sometimes they get it wrong, totally fine, but it's constantly moving. So, there's a frustration if somebody gets something wrong naturally, but I think it's definitely died down over the last 5 years or so. There's a lot less. The coaches take more action on the parents to protect the referee, which I think is fantastic. I think the referees do a really good job of keeping that education up and running. And some of the best referees that I've been this year, they'll actually come to me before the start of the game to make sure that I know that the rules have been updated and, this has changed or whatever that is, so I can tell my players as well. So I think it's got better. I think I always think there's going to be an issue there, but I think it comes all the way from the pros as well. You don't see as many pros getting after the referees as you used to.
It's really interesting because we talked about this on one of the earlier episodes of, everybody's dealing with something throughout the day. That includes the officials and the parents and everybody going through it. But just know that behind that, there's a volunteer, or they might keep getting paid $35, $50, but they're out there because they want to be out there, and give them a little bit of grace as you're going through there, so that we can continue to have one, because it's one of the biggest problems for us on baseball. This year we had a pretty decent turnout towards the end of the season, where a bunch of kids, the same thing, they're making money to buy a new glove, to buy a new bat, and it's been pretty solid to see them want to be out there and give back to the community. But I also get those emails from the coaches and from the dads saying, "Oh, this kid shouldn't be out there. This kid shouldn't be out there." And it's just, let's take a minute and realize that they're doing their best. And you know what? The complaint jar is the same jar as the volunteer jar. So if you want to come in and let me know that somebody's not performing, that's great. Let's get you out there so we can show these kids how it's done, or you can learn how hard it is.
Well, we talked about this with Thomas, right? Like when the parent are coaching the kid, and the kid turns around and says, "Well, you go and do it then."
Yeah.
Same, exactly the same. I was going to say, I think a lot of this comes from the pressure from the parents as well. The parents relate the pressure to the kids then relate it to the official, the parent relates it to the official. Everyone feels cheated, like it's just a whole, spectrum of bad, because, oh my God, if we lose this game, you are never going to get that scholarship. Man, I don't think it was that one incident in that one game that led to you not getting the scholarship.
Yeah, let's shift the blame. And I think we can extend it to all of these volunteer roles that we're seeing out there, not just the umpires, but there's, Snack Shack workers. We hosted a few tournament games, and it was the first day that they were working the Snack Shack. And this, if you can picture it, it's about like a 7x7 cube here that you're dealing with hot dogs and cookies and sodas and everything else in between, and the line starts to back up, and everyone's in line. What's taking so long? Why can't you guys move through this? And like, let's just, again, you're out here watching a baseball game. Let's give everybody some grace. And then there is the other side of it. Of we had a couple crews come out, a couple volunteers that just took so much pride in what they were doing. And as a league president, when they represent the league well and help you run the league a little bit better that day, just make anything a little bit, cleaner, you're so thankful for it. They took ownership, accountability. They were going to be the best volunteers possible in that moment. And you don't get a lot of that all the time. Some people see that volunteering as, all right, I'm going to slog through this next 2 hours. I'm not going to enjoy it. I don't want to be here. It's just refreshing to see some people come in and just have a good time with it.
Yeah, that's a mind shift, to your point, right? It's one of those, when you work out and it just completely hurts the next day, you're like, yeah, you're welcome.
Well, it's having a perspective on how you want to get it done. I think this translates both, with what we're talking about with the sports, but also in the professional world of finding a passion. If you really want to accomplish something, and you have a mission, then great. Everybody can gravitate towards that and help you accomplish that. When you're clear, you're transparent, you're in it for the right reasons. When you're not, say it's about the money, or it's about getting your kid on an all-star, getting your kid on a comp team, or you're doing it for the wrong motives, well, then it starts to deteriorate. Because as soon as you don't see that light at the end of the tunnel, you're not in it to actually make an experience better for anybody. You're in it for yourself. And changing that perspective is, I think, important to be able to have the right volunteers, have the right mindset when you're out there. And coaching as well. If you're in it for the paycheck on the soccer side, or on the baseball side, you're in it for some other reason besides developing the kids, it's going to be a long season, and everybody else is going to pay the brunt for it.
Oh, yeah. Amen to that. Amen to that. Yeah, there's a lot goes into it. We've done multiple meetings, calls over the last month, I would say, of, transitioning a lot. And a lot of it is organization, right? I'm sure you guys are the same. Is everyone's got ideas, everyone's got thoughts, everyone's got processes they want to put in, but getting that all documented into a single, I don't want to say a single pane of glass, but into a single area is a job in itself, honestly. And you guys probably the same in baseball. We have a curriculum, we have a periodization, then we want to, change things up depending on the group. And like you were saying last week about the batting cages, trying to do extra training on top of the organized training, whatever that looks like, and who's going to organize it, location based, all those things, because the kids want more, we want to provide more. It's just a lot. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy to get it all. And hopefully there's some parents on here listening. Like, we listen to everything and we try and accomplish as much as possible, but just sometimes we just either run out of time, or we just can't get it all in. So,
well, you can imagine that. It's one of the things that I open up to you about, or vent to the other board members about. I mean, we get emails all the time, and the emails come in and they're very, very specific, and it loses focus on what we're trying to do across. We represent over 500 kids. You represent over 3,000 kids. We can't optimize everything for everybody, and you get. There's been times where I've wanted to walk away from being Little League president, because you're just beaten down about, you can't be perfect. You cannot please everybody.
I also want people to realize, like, just stay with the process. Like, it's worked for so long, it'll work for you as well. Just stick with it. Don't keep jumping. And again, we touched on this with Thomas in the professional game, but it all figures itself out. But again, if you got an idea or you want to do something, throw a flag. Like, come and have a conversation. Door is always open.
Yeah, we're wide open to feedback, and I think coming in with that feedback with a perspective, the broader league, right? Can my feedback be applied to everybody, or a broader group? Is it just specific to my kid, my experience? And then offer to be involved. I think what I call swoop and poop. If you're going to swoop in and poop all over the plan or the process or what's going on, and then swoop right back out and not get into the weeds to try and help us figure it out, That's not helpful. And we have full-time jobs. We are volunteers in this. We're trying to figure it out. We're trying to do the best for it.
We have kids that do that. We don't need it everywhere
Yeah,
else.
exactly. The feedback is helpful 100%. We listen to all of it and we try to make it work. And we don't want to be a squeaky wheel culture either, where everybody that's the loudest gets the last say. But
Yeah,
we're trying to build a community. I firmly believe that if we are all in it for the right mission and for the right reasons, it's going to make the league better and the kids experience better.
for
But to
sure.
do that means we're all in this together. And I'm super thankful for everybody on the board that I've worked with and has come and gone or still on the board, because they make the experience that much better. And I feel like we're building that community, we're building that momentum so that more and more kids participate. And we're seeing that. We're seeing more and more kids come out, and we're not a competitive league, meaning there's no cuts. If you want to play, you're going to come out and play. We're going to find you a team. And that comes with its own challenges. You have the all-stars that we just talked about. It's really difficult to go from an all-star season into a fall ball season where some of the kids, it might be their first year of baseball. But if you build a strong enough community and everyone understands why we're here and how we're all going to make each other better, then it reframes and refocuses everybody as they come into that season.
Yeah. No, I love that. Well, and talking about community and feedback, where were we at last week? I think we were nearly 300 downloads or something.
Yeah,
We're nearly there.
approaching over 300 subscribers, 400 downloads of the last couple of episodes. Traction's coming. What we'd really love to see is all of the friends and family to get on these episodes and give us feedback.
Yes.
Calling out there. We just got done talking about feedback and what can make it better. Right. To recap, if you're joining us for the first time today and you've gotten this far, 30 some minutes in, Craig and I have both been in the professional world for over 15 years in Silicon Valley. We've also were born and raised on sports, on soccer, baseball, all the other sports you can play in the backyard. And we've got young kids, and we're trying to juggle all of it and make it all work. And the effort of this podcast is to let everybody know we're not all flying separately. We're all in this together. We're all experiencing similar things. And to give you a bit of the behind the scenes look at what it takes to start a company, run a youth sports organization, be a coach, be a dad, be a good husband, as much as we can try. I don't know what our report card is after this week, Craig, but we're doing our best.
Mine's pretty good. I'll give you this little sentimental one. The joy of seeing the kids come out and see me be in the dressing room area after not knowing, because I was driving and calls and everything else, they were stoked. And I'm going to remember it forever. I'm sure they probably won't, but just the excitement of me making sure I was there just to see. They can't see me in the crowd. They can't see me watching their dance. They've probably got an idea I'm there. But then when they're done and I can come to the backstage door and they come out, guaranteed that they probably will remember that. And it's, it definitely, that struggle bubble to juggle, okay, got to get there at this time. They're running early. I've got to get there an hour early or 30 minutes early. I'm going to take work calls when I'm on the way. I'm going to jump on my laptop when they're not performing. I'm going to, just exhausting, but making sure that I'm present for when they exit the stage door, absolutely worthwhile.
That's the
So,
memory. They're going to be able to say,
yeah.
remember when and you're going to be part of that and it's going to be that kayak ride that they did after
for sure.
all is said and done. It's going to be the roof topping or tree topping or whatever the heck
Tree
you called
topping.
it. Tree topping, skylining.
Bear chasing with the dog. The whole thing.
Echo found a dog or found a bear. That's fantastic. I'm glad you survived.
Wasn't
But
fantastic.
it's creating the we memories. We were there. We did this, and I don't even think they'll remember the results of the competition. It's going to be the overall experience.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the community part. That's what we're trying to bring to the masses, because we're all juggling something. We're all struggling with something, and we just got to try and mold it all together and build it as one. So I think we've got a few shout outs on this week's podcast. We've got to get out TDC. Great job, Bria, with the dance company. Los Gatos Little League. Los Gatos United Soccer. Who else we got? I'm going to shout out Fit Aid because I'm wearing their t-shirt.
I'm just representing Los Gatos Little League here.
Oh, we got BFC.
You got some BFC front and center. They've been a recurring guest on this show.
Yeah, so we are, and these were local, right? For Santa Cruz, Los Gatos Little League, Bay FC is obviously Bay FC.
You're so right, though. It just takes that community. And as you build that and people know what you're trying to build, those conversations with sponsorship or any way they can help out, building a press box or
Hmm.
sponsoring the pop-up tents that you guys have on the sidelines, it just becomes that much easier of a conversation because you're all in it to build out that community. It's not about the next dollar that comes in. It's about the experience for the kids, and people invest in that. They invest in that belief, that passion. But it's exhausting behind the scenes to be able to put on that smiling face every single day,
Yeah,
knowing that you got an email in the inbox about something going wrong in somebody's eyes, and needing to address that, which can be trying at times.
yeah. Well, and just to wrap this one, if anybody wants connections, hit us up on Instagram or emails, phone, whatever. If anybody's interested in sponsorship in any of these, or anybody who just wants to connect a dot with somebody, use us. We're here to help, and we want to help the community and grow the community as well. So please reach out. And as Chad said, keep subscribing, keep passing it on. We really appreciate it. We want to get to that 1,000 downloads a week if possible, and be one of the top % podcasters. It takes 21 episodes, as you sent earlier this week, Chad, to be in the top
Just
1% of
21 episodes. Just
podcasters.
keep talking. Just keep going. Well, you're 100% right. So as always, we are on Instagram, the Struggle Bubble Pod. We are available everywhere podcasts are available. You can also visit us at thestrugglebubble.com. Hope this was helpful for anybody. As you go into your fall seasons, we're about to go into back to school time. You're going to have soccer practices, baseball practices, dance recitals. All the fun things are going to happen back again. We're available to talk you through. Any feedback on our leagues or about the process or running your own league, please let us know.
Yeah, happy to help on any of that from the sports side. Please let us know.
As Craig mentioned, please share the podcast. We're trying to grow a little bit. Different tools become available to us as we hit different thresholds. 1,000 downloads is what we're targeting. We'd love your help to get there. With that, we will see everybody next week. Look for us being available on Tuesday afternoons. We're going to try and stay on schedule as the new school year starts. And if you have any feedback, you know where to find us.
Hey up.